I'm feeling good, I'm feeling irate. I'm in the mood. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling.
Hey guys, it's Steve Brown and
Eva Droz with Nothing But Hemp.
hope you guys are doing well. So I'm going to talk about Delta 8 again. I know we've talked a lot about Delta 8. It's definitely the hottest cannabinoid right now on the market. And recently I had a video that we produced, and I was talking about my experience on how Delta 8 affected me, specifically with our Godfather OG, which is an unbelievable strain. So one thing I just want to kind of tell everybody is that cannabinoids affect people differently. And actually, you could be taking the same exact cannabinoid, but maybe you're going to be taking a tincture or a gummy or something else, and you might have a different result on the way that you feel. And so on that video, I was going over how I feel about Delta 8 and the way that it makes me feel. And so when I take Delta 8, I don't get head high. It just doesn't really get me super heady. I've never had the effect of getting head high. Now, do I get a body feeling, or if you want to call it a body high? Yeah, maybe sometimes, but it really depends on the product. All of our products are lab tested, so if somebody comes back and says, "Oh, I bet you it doesn't really have Delta 8 inside," no, it does. We get all of our stuff tested. We want to make sure that the products that we have on our shelves are what you're supposed to be getting. Eva's experience when she takes Delta 8 is completely different than when I take Delta 8. What's your experience when you take it?
For me with Delta 8, it's definitely in between a CBD and a THC feeling.
Yep.
For me, I don't get the psychoactive, with it either. I actually feel really, really good energy and focus. It depends on the day. I can still work when I take Delta 8 THC. For me, regular THC, work-wise, I'm useless. I don't get anything done. My focus is all over the place. With Delta 8, I don't get that. I'm extremely focused. I'm extremely chill.
Yep.
I do get a little bit of a body feeling with it as well. My favorite thing to do is actually to do Delta 8 with CBD.
Yep.
I feel like the feeling of the two cannabinoids together is phenomenal. For me, I've always been a fan of taking CBD and consuming regular THC as well, just because it can bring you down. But with Delta 8, it's perfect.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, so, the biggest thing is that, we get a lot of customers that ask us, how do you feel off the product? And, if I take this dose, am I going to feel a certain way? And the thing is that we can't answer that question on how your body is going to feel when you take cannabinoids. So one of the best ways to describe how cannabinoids work in the system or differently for people is, if you've ever smoked weed before, and let's say you had a bunch of friends over and you were taking bong rips, for example, right? And one person is going to be laughing their ass off, they're going to be having a lot of fun, and then you have another person who's completely sleepy, and then you have another friend who ends up becoming dumb. So all three of us have a totally different experience. The same thing happens with Delta 8 THC. So is it intoxicating? Maybe to someone. Is it non-intoxicating to other people? Maybe to someone. So it really depends on their own endocannabinoid system. We have an employee here, I'm not going to mention her name because she doesn't want to be mentioned on film, but when she takes Delta 8 THC, she just feels relaxed. She feels like she took a really high dose of just CBD. And so it's very, very interesting how everybody has a different experience when they take cannabis. And we're still trying to figure out why that happens in everybody's endocannabinoid system. There's some science behind it, but there's just not enough data out there to really find out why one person feels completely different than another. Now, there is a portion when it comes down to the way that your body metabolizes substances. So, but the funny thing is when I take regular Delta 9 THC, I just need a little bit and I get high as can be. But if I take too much, my anxiety level is going to be a 10, but Delta 8 is not the same way for me. It's weird. I don't understand why it's like that in my own body. So the internet trolls that are out there that say anything negative about our brand when we're talking about how we feel when we take the products, please stop. There's no reason to do that. We're in an industry all here together, and I think it's really important that we stick together as an industry, and everybody is subject to their own opinion on the way that they feel when it comes down to taking cannabinoids. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. That's all cannabinoids in general when we talk to customers about CBD every day. I had try different brands that we carry, which are from different farms, different states, maybe a different method of extraction, but could be the same dose and type, but still grown, you know, in different places, and they'll have a really, really good reaction to one product and not notice much off a different product that's similar in strength. And it all goes back
It's
to
so
that
weird, isn't it? Yeah.
cannabinoid profile.
Yeah.
And like you said, ways of ingestion. For some people, if they use a gummy, they don't feel it at all, but they feel a tincture. And for other people, it's the opposite. The gummies kick in really good for them, but maybe the capsules don't kick in as well for them. And also like what he was saying about how we metabolize CBD, we actually sell a Lobo Genetics kit that you can do a mouth swab and mail it in, and they actually tell you how you process the CYP2C enzyme, which is going to pretty much tell you if you're a slow or fast metabolizer, which is also why activation time is different for everyone. I know, like for example, when me and Steven consume any type of cannabis together, it hits him right away.
Yeah.
And you're super sensitive, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it. So I love like sampling new products to Steven because he can tell within 5 minutes if it's a good or bad product just for you.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I'm a slower metabolizer. It usually takes closer to that 30-45 minutes to kick in.
Yep.
Even when I consume like CBD or cannabis with Margot, our employee, it kicks in quicker for her. Not as quick as you,
Yeah.
but quicker than me. So I tend to be a slower metabolizer, so it stays in my system longer. So I can usually dose higher, less frequently. But like for Steven, I mean, dosing smaller doses more frequently throughout the day is going to be more effective for him because he metabolizes it
super fast
out of his
metabolism,
system.
and it has nothing to do with like your typical metabolism when it comes down to like eating and if you're going to gain weight or not. It works completely different in your body when it comes down to metabolizing, you know, substances. So you know, I do need to take cannabis more often throughout the day at smaller doses, and that's what works best for me. Delta 8 is very, very interesting. Like when I take this tincture, I feel super euphoric. So the Delta 8 world, I'm still not getting head high though, which is the interesting part. I mean, I feel kind of floaty, but not like to a point where it's gonna alter my thoughts. And so that's one thing I really love about Delta 8 THC. I like to call it's the businessmen or women's you know, source of cannabis or choice of cannabis, for the fact that you can work on it. For me, I get a lower stress level, especially if I microdose it, where I just feel kind of relaxed. I'm you know, definitely head clear, but if I smoked a big doobie at work, I'm not gonna be as effective. Maybe if I did some type of graphic design work, I would be completely effective because I'd get really into the art and all the fine details into it. But if it's outside of graphic design, there's no way I could operate, you know, the business on Delta 9 THC. It's completely different. So
yeah, absolutely, so true. So we just wanted to point out how we all respond different and why it's good to try different ways of ingestion, different products, different cannabinoid profiles, different strengths. For me, I love consuming Delta 8 with a little bit of CBD. We actually have a tincture, which I'm really looking forward to trying.
Yeah.
Which one combines it? That combines the Delta 8 THC with the CBD.
Yep.
Now for me, I've been doing the Delta 8 gummies and then been doing the Focus, and it's been absolutely phenomenal.
yes, that's a good mix.
The gummies for me takes a little bit to kick in, but it really lasts for hours.
Yeah.
For me, I get a long time out of it, and I still get, I think what you said that really resonated with me is clear-headed.
Yeah.
I also feel clear-headed on Delta 8 personally, where sometimes I can get groggy with Delta 9. So I do appreciate that part of it, and the CBD gives you a little bit of that energy with it, especially with the Focus blend. For me, I've always struggled just energy, like fatigue, just energy throughout the day. It's just that straight, it's not like a caffeine energy where you're jittery, that straight, clear energy. And for me, just being able to focus and be more productive with my day and get more done and be in a better mood and feel better in my body, it's just all benefits. So I am loving it.
Yeah, I love Delta 8, and you know, we're really hoping that it stays legal and that there's more clarity on a state level and a federal level for isomers like Delta 8 THC. I'm a huge fan of the substance. Pretty soon we're going to be talking about Delta 10 THC, which is another cannabinoid that they found, and it supposedly gives you more of a sativa feeling. They say that the Delta 8 is more of like an indica feeling. and then the Delta 10 is more of a sativa feeling. So look forward to seeing that on our shelves here shortly. And again, just a quick takeaway is that everybody, and I mean everybody, feels differently on cannabinoids. That's a fact. You can't argue that. That's just what it is. And so I hope you guys learned something from this video, and you know, when you're taking cannabis your next time, think about how you actually feel off of that particular strain or the tincture that you're taking, and kind of notate that on how that particular product makes you interact with cannabis.
Yeah, and I like to say, look at the clock when you dose it. Look at the clock when you feel it kick in. Most people I talk to who use cannabis are pretty in tune with their body. So be in tune with your body. And we recommend don't abuse cannabis, especially Delta 8. Start slow, see how your body responds. Be home, don't mix with other substances. Just be aware of how your body feels on it, and slowly increase that dose. We do not recommend starting high or with a higher dose before knowing how your body responds to it. So as always, use the products as recommended. Do not abuse them. Do not overtake them. Start slowly and listen to your body with the products.
Just like alcohol, guys, you don't want to drink an entire keg by yourself, okay? It's not going to end up very well. The same thing with any cannabis product. Everything in moderation. That goes with CBD, CBG, Delta 8 THC, regular THC, so take it in moderation. So much for watching another episode of Nothing But Hemp, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Lion in the jungle, lion in this concrete jungle, lion in the jungle, lion in this concrete jail, say, lion of Judah, don't sleep tonight, which his work is protected, die. We must get ready for peace and love, cause in the end of the day we got to pay the cost. Lion in the jungle is a key.